Namaste. This was going to be the final step in the process. We had covered step one, be at peace with circumstances. Step two, be pleased with who you are. And then step three was be at peace with everyone else around you. And then we talked about becoming aligned with the desires. And now today we are going to talk about how do you actually manifest. So, as I had mentioned earlier, that thoughts are very powerful. Basically, the whole universe and everything within this universe is created through thoughts. So, whatever changes we bring about to this world, whatever inventions we have done, whatever happens in our world, the seed of everything is thoughts. And as humans, we can see the evidence that through our thoughts we have done so much, and we have changed this whole earth and the whole environment, the earth. Similarly, at a bigger scale, there are like all these souls beyond humans which are in this universe, and through that consciousness the whole universe changes and the whole universe expands. In ancient times, sages in India, they would go off into the forest and they would just meditate and think, and then come out of the forest with something big, like some big weapon or some big power, which made them superior compared to some of the other humans. Or sometimes they would come out with like some which are described as flying objects, which are like spaceships or planes. So as such, over the time, all of that knowledge was lost, and then partly India was first ruled by Mughal Empire for a long time, and then by Britishers. So throughout that duration, all of those things basically became dogma. So people stopped following that, and a lot of the records were lost, and people just started assuming that those things don't work, and then a lot of people also came around who were like charlatans, and so overall the society became more Christianized. So they stopped believing in some of the ancient practices that had always been there. So, but overall, it has been written in those scriptures, and then in the Western world, starting from early 1900s, it was found that through thoughts you can actually manifest a lot of these things. And some of the biggest, most successful people in the world, some of the biggest scientists, some of the most successful businessmen, have been part of that New Thought movement, who actually believed in that, and possibly they achieved their success because of these beliefs. So now, the reason that we had to go through this step-by-step process was that I realized that there are a lot of books which have been written about it, and there have been a lot of The Secret, the film. There is Abraham Hicks, the Law of Attraction processes and all. From my personal experiences, I noticed that a lot of people struggle to manifest things using some of those techniques. The reason is that they are themselves not at peace within themselves, which keeps holding them back. So, and that's the reason I came up with this process where you align yourself first before you actually start manifesting things. And you could have alignment in different areas. So certain alignments, for instance, some people, they get some good things happen to them in certain circumstances, but some bad things happen to them in different circumstances. So you could have different degrees of alignment in different aspects of your life. And you attract different things based on that alignment in those different areas. So as such, on the other hand, there is the other end of the scale. If you are truly aligned with everything in your life, then you reach that what is called the state of bliss, where you could pretty much get whatever you want just by thinking about it. So that's what these first steps were. So it's not about just getting one particular thing in life and aligning with that, but it's about getting anything and everything all the time. So that's what this process would do. Now, once we have aligned ourselves to ourselves, circumstances, people, and our desires, then we have to actually still manifest them. Now, for manifestation, again, one of the most important points in manifestation is setting intent. Uh, so if you set the intent, then you are more likely to get the desired result. And if you don't set the intent, then chances are that you may get some random results which you may or may not have anticipated. So a simple example is if you go for a job interview, if you're not sure, if you don't think, set your intent that I want this job, I want to clear this interview, you may or may not get the desired results. So, so setting intent is the first part. That is the foremost. And one of the easiest ways to set the intent is just maybe write it down. You can write down in different slips of paper and different circumstances in the beginning. Before you enter that scenario, you read it, think about it, before you go for any job interview, before you go for any contract negotiation, before you go for any important discussion with a family member. You set the intent, what is the objective, what is it that you want to achieve out of that scenario. So, and if there is a particular outcome which is really important, and if you can find time, it's very important to use that mantra Soham 16 times, because that mantra bridges the gap between the intent and manifestation. So any important manifestation or any important scenario, if you use the mantra Soham, you would see that your success rate would start increasing just by itself. So you don't need to even do a lot of these other things. Okay. On the other hand, if a lot of these small segments, let's say when you just get into the car, you're driving, you're just about to start driving, you don't have time for that mantra again and again because you might be doing it multiple times, and it's not that important a segment in your life. So you may just have a slip in the car with your intents written on it. So every time you get into the car, you read that intent and then get on with it. Now, so that's the first and foremost. Second thing is, in order to manifest using your desires, you have to be able to visualize it. So if you can visualize something, well, that means you are more in alignment with that aspect compared to if you can't visualize it at all. So let's say if you want something and you're not able to visualize it, it can mean one of the two things. One is either you're not aligned to that particular aspect of your life, which will help you manifest that desire, or you're not aligned with that desire itself. Because quite often we want certain things, but it's not because that would that those things would be pleasing to us or that would make us happy, but because as per our society or as per the people who have been telling us that if you do this, this will make you happy. So we are not sure, we are just following whatever others have told us, and so our life purpose or our desires could be completely in contradiction with whatever we have learned or whatever has been told to us. So in that case, we have to go back and say, why do we need this? Look at the underlying reasons. And sometimes we might realize that those reasons are far more important to us than achieving this particular thing. Okay. Like Catherine once said that she wants to win lottery because that would give her choice. But on the other hand, there was a very, very good friend of mine. So I consider him very, very successful. And, but whenever we meet, he always talks highly of me. And I used to always wonder, he's such a successful person, why would he do that? And so I told him that, you're so successful, I'm not. So why would you even say that? He said, what do you mean by success? Like, is it money? I said, what is it? So he said that success is about being able to do what you want whenever you want. Okay? And so it's not about money. And as far as he can see me, I always do whatever I want whenever I want. Okay, so for that, I don't need money. And that's what he said makes me successful. So that was quite a while ago, a few years ago. I did not understand at that time. So I thought it was just he was being gracious in trying to praise me or something because he's a good friend of mine. But now, first time when I achieved my alignment, that's the first time I really understood that the reason I had always wanted money was to be able to do certain things. But then I realized that I was able to do many of those things even without money. And I have been doing it in the last few months. My life has been turning around. A lot of the things that I've been wanting to do, I've been able to do a lot of those things. So, for instance, the software technology I've created. It would take some companies millions and millions of pounds. Nobody can think of having those kind of technologies unless they get some big investment or some big company puts in a lot of money. But I've been able to do it with practically very, very little money. Okay. And similarly, there are a whole lot of other things that are happening. So I realized that it's sometimes not that important. The original desire may not be that important compared to why you want those desires. So those are truly the things that you sometimes want. So you have to look at that aspect and think about it very hard and see what are the parts of the desire that you are in alignment with. Second thing is, you may not be so basically once you are aligned with a particular desire, then you would find visualization much easier compared to when you're not in alignment with that desire. Third step is when you visualize something, then you have to be able to feel good. It should automatically feel good. You shouldn't have to force yourself. So if you're trying to be happy when you think of something or want something or desire something, then that means you're probably not on the right path. Because if that's the true desire, that true purpose that you came here for, then you would automatically feel good about it. You would deep inside feel that feeling on its own. But on the other hand, you can always still align yourself with the desire. If you really want something, you don't feel those feelings, you're not able to visualize something, you can still talk yourself into alignment. But it'll take slightly longer for you to get there compared to if that's a true desire, because that would just happen naturally. So quite often a lot of people, they want certain things but never get it, simply because first of all they may not even have that as their true desire, so they can't generate those feelings, they can't visualize it, and then they just keep going about it and they don't analyze that what are the main things that they want. So that's something that you need to be able to do. So set intent, visualize, and then feel good about it. But not try to feel good about it or do something about it, but it should generate that feeling. If it doesn't, keep looking at those desires, keep refining them, keep honing them, keep talking yourself into alignment until you reach a stage where you can visualize something and feel good about it. One of the easiest tools to be able to visualize something is if you look at some other objects or pictures. So in one of the workshops about relationships, we talked about collecting a lot of different pictures and objects that generate certain feelings for you. Sorry, it's quite cold here today. So that is one of the easiest tools to be able to do that. So what you can do is, if you come across certain objects or certain certain pictures or certain passages in a book or certain quotations, whatever you can find, anything that when you read or look at it generates certain feeling which is in alignment with that desire. So for instance, if you are looking for money, then finding pictures which evoke that feeling of money, like maybe big houses, cars, piles of cash, people holding money and being happy about it, or whatever, or if there are certain objects that you can relate to, those whenever you look at that object reminds you of something, generates that feeling. So then you can make a collection of those objects and you could have different, like we talked about having a notebook where you could have different notebooks for different aspects of your desires, and then keep adding those pictures in it, or maybe have boxes with keep adding those objects in it. And so what happens is then whenever you feel like you go back to it, you look at those things, and those things would keep adding power to your desires, because then you have, let's say, 100 different things collected related to your desire. And when you look at each of those 100 things, you actually end up having all those feelings at that moment, whatever each of those things generate. So that adds power to your desire. Another way to basically add power to your desire is look into your past for any moments when something similar had happened to you and you had generated like good feelings of happiness related to that particular aspect. So for instance, if you want a good relation, so in the past, find a couple of key moments when you were with somebody and you felt really good. Remember those moments, and that would obviously generate those kind of feelings in you. And then try to enhance those things. Third thing is, you basically go out and look at others who are in the same situation where you want to be, and see how good it feels. Because if it does feel good to you, then that means you're on the right path. But anyways, if you're aligned, then when you see other people having the same sort of things that you want, it would feel good rather than you would feel some jealousy or negative emotions. Okay. And then it gives you even furthermore data in your mind and more power to your desire, because suddenly you are looking at a lot of different people who already have those things. So it adds on to your belief, saying that yes, if so many other people can have that, so can I. And also it gives you something to remember. Yes, that's the kind of thing I want. That's the kind of relation I want. That's the kind of object I want. So it adds powers to your desires. So you have to do it regularly over a period of time. So patience is the key. Because as far as the universe is concerned, manifesting things for universe is not a big deal. Whatever the reasons the time delay exists is simply because of our own alignment. Okay, so in areas where you are perfectly aligned, usually there is no time delay. It can happen quite quickly. Give you an example, some of the simpler things, people when start following law of attraction, they're able to find parking quite easily, straight away. That's one of the first things people can manage to do. The reason is because there are no negative baggage, from the past. And it's a simple enough thing that even if they don't get it, they don't care, so they're at peace with everything related to that. So, one of those instances where recently I had to take the tube, and I, went there, and I visualized a parking space on the way, and then exact same space was available. And that's it. So it's so quick, those manifestations. And I've seen that happen, that sometimes in the past, some couple of very big manifestations have occurred in my life within a matter of days. But at that time, I was in a state of mind, but that happened before I learned about law of attraction. But now, because of my self-realization, now I can go back to every major event in my life, every major or minor event in my life, and I can remember what state of mind I was in, and what all thoughts I was thinking, what all things were happening in my life, and how it led to those manifestations that did happen. So few of those very, very big things, in fact, a large number of big things that have happened in my life in the past, every single one of them were when I was in a particular state of mind. And some of them happened as quickly as within a few days. Okay. And that state of mind is important. So let me explain that state of mind, where you don't care about the world, you don't care about the people around you, you don't care about who you are and what you are, you're just relaxed and you're happy. And you're just going out there doing things that please you. That's it. Okay. And what people say, don't say, you don't even pay attention to that, and nothing affects you. It's as if like nothing else matters. You are the only person in the world. Nothing else matters. Okay, and you just go out and be so happy all the time, and you just keep doing those things that make you happy all the time. Whether society tells you right, wrong, whatever it is, you just keep doing it. And then over that period of time, suddenly those big manifestations start coming. Now, easier said than done. Those states, that particular state, those kind of states of mind, I achieved accidentally without realizing, because of whatever reasons they were in my life at that time. Okay. But to be able to deliberately achieve that state is a little bit harder, because again, because you have all this negative baggage from life, and you're so desperate about that desire, that desperation itself is holding you back, and all those things keep adding up. And then there are all these other people around you, there are circumstances, there are things happening around you that to be able to rise above all of them and say that none of it matters. I am happy. Doesn't matter what happens around me. I am at peace, I am happy, I don't care about anything else. To reach that stage and rise above all these little niggles and annoyances that are in your life, it takes some doing. And so as soon as you do that, suddenly you would see that you would be at a stage, and if you can hold that state for a very long period of time, you would see that during that time, a lot of these things that you want would start manifesting quite quickly, one after the other. But obviously, those areas, other areas like being at peace with yourself, people, circumstances, and your desires have to be there. That has to be there, because otherwise you won't even reach that stage. But earlier, before you came in, I was mentioned that you could have different alignments in different aspects of your life. So you may end up having good manifestations in one aspect because you're aligned, but bad manifestations in other. So you could still have that. But to get whatever you want, regardless of what type of thing it is, then you have to be fully aligned. And then once you're fully aligned, then those manifestations come very, very quickly. And I can tell you by my past experience, some of the huge things that have happened in my life. Growing up, I could not even imagine that the kind of society I grew up in. I could not even imagine that those were the kind of things I would get in life or be able to do in my life. And most of those things just fell into my lap. And every single time it was because I was in a state of mind, I was so relaxed. Who cares? Who cares what happens around me? I'm just happy. This is what I want to do. Just go ahead and do it, and just pleased with myself. People saying something, who cares? Nothing matters. It's like everything is just bouncing off of me. Like you have this shield around you. People say something, don't say something. They look at you, don't look at you. You have any friends, company? Nothing matters. You are in your own little world, and you are basically at the top of the world. Rest of the things are just down there. You have no relation or those things have no significance in your life. And then when you reach that stage, that's when not only your desires, but you realize that you're also a beacon for all these other people. So those people automatically feel that you are their best friend, or you are a good person they want to be with, or you are like attractive, or all kinds of things happen. So on the other hand, when you're mixed with those people at that same level, you have to work very hard. You have to be politically correct. You have to work towards that relation. You have to do a whole bunch of things to make those relations work. But once you rise above all of that, then all these things just fall in place anyways. It's purely your vibrations that that affect you at that point, not other people. So if your vibration at that stage is about having harmonious, pleasing relations, then you don't even have to work towards it. Automatically all those relations would just lift up, and they would be pleasing. So even though you're just taking care of yourself, people would feel as if you are being very kind and generous to them, or you're taking care of them, or you're there for them whenever they need it. So that's basically the kind of state I was in. So that's the state you have to try to achieve through some of the previous lessons we have gone through. And I'll be very honest, I did achieve that state for a short duration. When I started with this practice, when I had that realization, that after quite a while I did meditation, tried a lot of different things, I had that realization that each of those major things that have happened in my life, they all were particular state of mind. So I could identify every single thought I had at that moment, every single circumstance, and what state of mind I was in. And I could see that there's such a like consistent pattern throughout the life. So I need to be able to achieve that. So it took me quite a while, maybe 2 or 3 months, to be able to reach a state of bliss, sort of. And then immediately a lot of these things I was struggling with suddenly fell into place. Just out of nowhere, very quickly those things fell in place. But then there were some other desires which I had been working on, which are far bigger than some of the initial desires I had started with, because I started with some of the simpler things in my life, and obviously they immediately fell in place. But then when I started working on some of the bigger desires, which would have much bigger impact onto other aspects of my life, I realized that there were a lot that has happened. Means I have gone through massive ups and downs in my life, and because of that there is so much baggage I've carried throughout my life, that the moment I started going for that some of the higher desires, then all those things came out, and then they started affecting my vibration. So for last 1 month or so, my vibrations have been just simply going down, simply because I'm going through that process of aligning myself. And I don't know how long it will take, but the thing is that you have to understand that that alignment, sometimes if you are, some areas you may be able to just think the right thoughts and immediately the alignment happens. Some other areas, if they're very important areas, you have strong beliefs or strong negative emotions about certain things, or lot of baggage, some people may be just able to just shrug their shoulders off and say, fine, it's gone, then that's perfect, that works for them. Some other people, let's say in my case, it's been taking a little bit longer for that alignment, but everything is fine, because again, patience is the key. There is no hurry, right? I'm perfectly fine where I am. I've got everything I need. So I'm more successful than most people can possibly imagine already. So yes, I want to be even more, far, far, far more successful, but that's a different story altogether. That's what I'm trying to align myself with, So anyways, it's not like I have any lack right now for which I should, worry about anything. If it happens in a couple of months, fine. If it happens in a couple of years, fine. Because where I want to go, even if I get there sometime before I die, it'll be a huge achievement. So there is no hurry. It's patience is the key. So, and that's why one of the previous sessions I said that you start with some of the smaller desires, so that you build that belief. You start building that alignment gradually. It's not like all or nothing over a long period of time, because otherwise sometimes it can be disheartening if something is taking, let's say it ends up taking a whole year for alignment, and during that whole 1 year a lot of circumstances, situations can come in which can just throw you off the alignment, and then you have to go back again. So it can be a step, but every person is different. Different things work for different persons. Like so you choose the path that you have to follow. But the main thing is the patience is the key. Patience, and then the final step is belief. You have to know and believe that those things are going to be there in my life. Like in my case, I had known since I was a child that it's in my destiny that I'm going to make it big, massive. Okay. That belief has not changed. All through my life, ups and downs, I've gone through major upheavals in my life. Most people do not go through even a fraction of those kind of experiences that I have faced. And even when I was down in the dump, I knew that I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to make it big. And it's that belief that I had in me, and I don't know, And it's because of that belief that I had in me since I was a child. Most of the people who know me also believe the same. So whenever I meet any of the old friends, they still say the same things. They may not have met me for 10, 15, 20 years. So this is the power of vibration, because if you have a particular vibration, that this is who you are, strong vibration. So if you believe that you have, like most of the time I've seen that even when I was quite poor, not poor as such from my standards, so otherwise luckily financially I've always done well, but compared to where I thought I should be. So even in those days, when I would meet a lot of people, a lot of strangers or my friends, they would think that I have abundance of wealth, okay, just the way I carried myself. Similarly, all these a lot of old friends that I meet, I just recently talked to a friend of mine, and he's I've talked to him about after for 22 years, and he said if there is one person who's going to make big in life, that's you. And it feels the reason I'm mentioning this is that it's not because I have done something big enough in my life for other people to have that feeling. So far, most of my friends, a lot of them are quite successful, so I'm nowhere close to any of them, to be honest. It's not because of that. It's because of that strong belief I had within me and the vibration I've carried through my life. And that's what affects others. And people start having their opinion about you based on the kind of opinion you carry about yourself. And stronger it is.
I've said to other people when I've talked about coming to here, and they said, you've got to listen to Pankaj, and he says he's going to, I've listened to your stories about your technology and whatnot, and I said, and the way he says it, I believe him. So it's gone from me, who has belief, I believe what you're saying, I believe that you'll do that. And I passed on to someone else, me saying, and I absolutely, when you say it, you really pick up on, I'm like, I really believe that.
So that belief has to exist, and that vibration. So one of the important things you have to remember about vibration is that once you think a thought, it adds onto your being, who you are. Okay, every single time you have thought of a thought, it adds to your point of attraction. So which means, if in general you are in alignment, something happened, you thought a few thoughts, those thoughts stay there, and they change your point of attraction slightly. Okay, so until you think of opposing end of thoughts and reverse that, your point of attraction would have shifted permanently. And so let's say if you are right now here, you thought of a thought which put you here. Now that point of attraction is shifted there permanently until the next thought. Then you thought of some other thought, brings you here. Some other thought brings you here. Some other thought. So it keeps happening. But if you want to be here, so every time you think of a thought which takes you slightly away from that direction, you have to start thinking more and more and more of those thoughts to keep coming back gradually. So a lot of these thoughts that you have, they have already made you who you are as a person, and that is what your current point of attraction is. And you keep changing that based on the thoughts. So if you're moved a little bit away because of certain thoughts, you have to come back with the opposing thoughts as well. Okay. So sometimes you may just be able to just neutralize the impact of the negative thoughts, and sometimes you have to think more thoughts to make it towards the positive side. So that's one thing you have to realize, and that adds to the time factor as well, because unless you are aware of every single thought you've been thinking about, sometimes you may not realize where your point of attraction is. But overall, the main guidance again is that if you're feeling good, that means you're heading in the right direction. Longer you maintain that state, more you're heading in that direction. So that's what brings you to our next point, that how do you know which direction you're heading? That's very simple. How you feel. If you're feeling good and you're happy, you're heading in the right direction. If you're not, you're heading in the wrong direction. So every single thought, that's what happens. And now, because we have learned how to raise our Kundalini is awake, that becomes an even bigger indicator. It's far bigger and far more stronger indication than just feeling how you feel. Because sometimes people are so used to faking their feelings that they just think they are natural feelings. So they may be actually inflicting pain on someone, but they would think as if they are feeling good about it. But they're not. They still feel that pain inside, so they have masked it. Okay. So sometimes that's the human nature, and that's where some of the problems come up. So that's why people think that all these criminals who inflict pain on others, they actually are happy with it, but they're not. Because if they were happy doing it, they would never go to jail, or they would not have some other people inflict pain on them. So there are consequences. The reason they have those consequences, those people face those consequences, is because truly they do that, but they are not feeling good about it. They are going away from the direction they were supposed to go. And that's where also that question of being at peace with others comes in, because it's their life. Whatever they are doing, they'll face the consequences. What does it have to do with me? Who am I? Am I a policeman? It's not my job to put them in jail, so let someone else put them in jail. They'll pay for whatever they've done. It's their life. Who am I to judge them? So they have laws, they have cops, they have courts, they have all sorts of justice systems, and they have armies. Let them sort out whatever other people are doing. Unless it's my job to do that, why would I care? Let them be. So basically, those people are not actually feeling good. And that's the reason they end up doing it, because people who are truly aligned within themselves would not inflict pain on others anyways. But they are not in alignment, that's why they do those things. And then because they are not in alignment, they eventually have to face the consequences as well. There would be other gangs who would inflict pain on them, or maybe police would catch them, and then they would end up in jail, or all sorts of things happen. Or even if sometimes some people, they escape justice for a period of time, they would still not be happy. They would still be in pain within themselves. So it's their life. We don't have to worry about it, because we don't want that kind of experiences in our life. So that's what we have to do. That we have to make sure that alignment just stays. It is not affected by anything or anyone around us. Be patient, have that belief. Okay, and then use that guidance system to keep going in the right direction. And the final step is to actually see the evidence and be happy about it. So that evidence comes from, basically, you would see all these coincidences, the signs, and every time you would see that, there are always signs that you see before any manifestation occurs. Always. Things just don't fall out of space from nowhere, just from somebody's head. No. They see those signs over a period of time. What are the different signs you get? You get dreams. So if you set your intent for over a period of time, that I want to remember any dreams I had at night, or important dreams I had, you would see that. And during the time I was in alignment, about a month ago, I would remember dreams every single morning. So I would write them down, and I could see where my point of attraction is, because those dreams are actually one of the pre-indicators of what might be coming to your life based on where your point of attraction is. But you won't remember those dreams unless you set that intent, and you do it over a period of time, and you're in alignment as well. Okay. So during that time, but then as soon as I lost my alignment, again, I have not been remembering any dreams in the morning. I wake up, that's it, it's gone. So, but then again, that's one of the things you would see. Indicators on which direction you're heading, what are the likely manifestations in future for you based on your point of attraction. Dreams is very important. Second is, you would see coincidences. Okay, so coincidences, again, you would walking down the street, like when I was during the time when I was in alignment, and because I had asked for some harmonious relations or whatever, even strangers started smiling at me, I got invited for running these classes, and people would just couple of times strangers just walked up to me, started conversations. So you see all those signs, right? And then as soon as I've lost the alignment, again, boom, it's all gone. All those coincidences just went away, right? And you can also see that, like for instance, in this particular class, the attendance was going up during my alignment, and as soon as the exact time when I started losing the alignment, the attendance started going down again. And it'll go back up again, because within a week or two I'm getting there where the alignment would be back, and then it'll start rising again. So you would see patterns. You would be able to predict. Those patterns are so consistent and so predictable that you would be really surprised that it's such an accurate science. There is no subjectivity in it. So for instance, as an example, like I keep taking parking as an example because it's the easiest thing. You could actually experiment with it yourself quite quickly and see the results, right? That's the reason I mentioned that. It's one of the simplest things you could start with in your life. So I've been living in this area for 7 years, and I've been going to the same station for parking all this while, right? I never found that free. There are about 10 free parking spaces, rest all are paid. So I never found that free parking space, maybe once in like 5 years or 6 years, right? And ever since I started following that, I've been there 11 times and I've found that free parking 10 times. So probability. So no statistician, no scientist can argue with these kind of results. Okay. So you would see all these patterns. So as your alignment increases, you would see that overall, in general, in all areas of your life, things are lifting up. As soon as your alignment is disturbed, in all areas your life would start drifting down. So you don't even have to look for evidence in one particular thing. You would start seeing the overall patterns in your life. You would be able to pinpoint exact thoughts, exact moments, exact dilemmas inside you, exact emotions inside you, which are causing those ups and downs in your life. So you would be able to actually forecast much of your life, be aware of exactly all the things that are going to happen in your life before they happen. And if you have that sort of understanding of how your life would pan out, then obviously it would make it much easier for you to also take corrective measures when you feel that something wrong is going to happen. And then again, if you have multiple aspects of your life, you would have some aspects which are lower priority, some aspects are higher priority. So you may just want to focus on higher priority aspects and let the lower priority aspects for the time being just take their own course and not into that sort of alignment. So you would have to be able to juggle with different aspects of life and see that at this point these are the main things that I'm interested in, and just focus on those so that those things improve. Other areas we can worry about that later, but overall you would see that based on your overall alignment, the whole life, all aspects would keep going up and down, and you would see those indications before they happen. So this is basically this is how you figure out like exactly what would happen before it happens. And so that's basically the overall process for manifestation. So you set your intent, use mantra Soham sometimes for bigger intents. Then you visualize it. If you can't visualize it and feel good about it, if you can't do either, then analyze your desires, find the right desires, because those may not be the right desires for you. Find out why you need it, and then choose those desires that you're aligned with. And then the meditation, Kundalini, and guidance within you, whether you're heading in the right direction or wrong direction. And then start seeing those evidences through like dreams and your overall evidence in other aspects of your life, the coincidences that are happening, that will tell you which direction you're heading. So that's basically the overall process. And where does Kundalini fit in this whole thing, the meditation that we have been doing? You must have noticed that we have used, there is one core meditation that we initially started with, which is just to become aware of that Kundalini. Then we did, over a number of sessions, we did different types of meditations with different techniques of meditation, like different meditation for, becoming, diagnosing yourself, your well-being, and so that's a very powerful tool you can use to figure out which aspects of your life or which aspects of your thoughts require attention. So you could work on those aspects. And also, in one of the future sessions, I would say, cover how you can use that alignment to actually clear the blockages within the chakras, as well as to improve your thoughts. So, like I said, in this particular case, if your thoughts improve, your energy vibration improves. Kundalini works on the other side, where it improves your energy vibration, which pulls your thoughts up. So in this case, if you're working on thoughts and Kundalini together, then you end up having much more powerful manifestations. Also, another thing that would happen is through the power of Kundalini, because the sages of ancient times, they used to, first raise their Kundalini to such a high level that you actually end up with much higher power in your manifestations. Because Kundalini is the highest form of energy that you're connected to. Like last time, I think your friend, she mentioned that that she works with heat. So the way most of these other spiritual practices work is that they find out what's wrong and try to fight what's wrong and release from the body. Okay. So they have to work with heat. But Kundalini feels cool because it's a higher form of energy. That's your connection with the higher source, the higher power. And so you're working with the pure energy and making yourself more pure. So all the impurities automatically would be gone. So this is a different way of looking at it. So one way of looking at it is you look at the water and say that I want to take out every impurity out of this water. The other person says that, I will just, use the condensation so that the pure water gets collected in a different jar. So all the impurities, I don't even have to think about it. So the second process works better because in that case, doesn't matter what the impurity is. So even if the impurities are mixed in the water, you can't see them, even they would be gone. On the other hand, if you're trying to pick out impurities, there is only that much you can do. And then if something is not visible to you, you may not be able to clear it. So everything is right, different practices, they're all right, but you have to find the one that works for you. So this particular practice is beyond all the other spiritual practices because it works with the pure energy that is within yourself. So you don't need healers after that. You don't need, you can create your own healing practices once you reach a certain stage with your connection. You can create your own witchcraft rituals. You can do whatever you want, and it would work. So this is a different practice completely. So compared to just working with thoughts and those processes that sometimes they teach in Law of Attraction, this just with Kundalini, it just adds far more power to your manifestations. It's an added tool for you to be able to figure out what's wrong, as well as take corrective measures. And in terms of some of the healing and some of those other things, it works directly, because that energy is flowing through you, so you can heal yourself directly using this energy. So that's where some of the meditations we have been doing fits within in this. And what we are going to do today is a different type of meditation again. Most of that would be the same, but there would be some variations in the meditation on how we are going to be able to use the power of Kundalini to attract the people, events and circumstances that would help our desires come true. Okay, so again, I have come up with all these different meditation techniques, and each of those is a completely different meditation technique, and each of them serves a different purpose. If you want to diagnose yourself, there's a different technique. If you want to heal yourself, there's a different technique. If you want to draw, become a magnet and start drawing people and events towards you, that will help you fulfill the desire. That is today's meditation. So that's a different meditation technique. So we would work with all these different techniques. You know. So some of them you have already seen, and this is the one that we are going to do today. So after the break. Right.
Wonderful.
Thanks.